Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
Still love it loud? So do we. Rockin' Pod returns to Nashville on Saturday, August 25th. Over 25 rock podcasts from all over North America, recording on-site. Vinyl and memorabilia dealers selling the best in rock merchandise. And awesome rock musicians and personalities participating in signing sessions and on-stage panel discussions throughout the day. Special guests include current and former members of Korn, Kiss, Angel, Winger, Loudness, Accept, Bang Tango, Kick Tracy, as well as producers that have worked with Slayer, Ozzy, Alice Cooper, Sevendust, and many more. More guests being added weekly. Don't miss your chance to be part of an awesome celebration of all things rock. Rockin' Pod takes place at the legendary Nashville Palace, August 25th, 2018. More details available at rockinpod.com. That's ROCKNPOD.com. The Nashville Rockin' Pod Expo. Brought to you by Blind Tiger Record Club, School of Rock Nashville, and School of Rock Franklin, a DBG Productions event.
Hey folks, this is episode number 127, and this week our guest is Shim, former lead singer from the Sick Puppies, and I'm stepping all over my tongue today. This episode will originally air on July 5th, 2018. And this should be our second episode on kgfrocks.com. So if you've not listened to us yet, go over there. If you miss any of this episode, go back there and check that out next week. And
what the hell
Dennis
is he doing?
About to have a stroke or something. He keeps
what is
pointing
wrong
at
with
himself.
you?
So I'm going to let Dennis talk right now.
This show comes out on my birthday, July 5th. It's all about me, dude. When you said July 5th, I'm like,
I thought every day was your birthday.
It comes out on my brother's birthday. It's not all about you.
I actually have a friend that does the 30 days of his birthday. It's the whole month.
There's a lot of people that do that.
I wish I need to start doing that.
I thought you already did that.
No, July 5th. That's it.
Text message in it like 1 o'clock in the morning. It says, "Don't forget it's my birthday on July 5th." Every day.
No, I did not.
Yes, you do.
No, I
really. Didn't. Come on.
No, I send you penis jokes and fart jokes and shit at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Awesome. Phone vibrates at work and I can't even flip it over. God only knows it'll be on there.
I can't look at it now.
All right, now let's get to the serious business.
Let's get serious. Let's get some rock and roll. Bill, what do you got about rock and roll wise?
Well, I found out earlier today, which I think this is kind of cool, that there is a huge Kiss fan in London, or I'm sorry, not London, in London, Ontario, or in that area, that was at the Rockin' Con Expo that was up there just about a month ago or whatever. His name's Greg Ortbach, and big Kiss collector, and collects all sorts of things, and had a gold album award for Destroyer with the Destroyer artist and Love Gun artist Ken Kelly's name on it, and he assumed that he got that from somebody thinking it was Ken's, that he gave it up or something like that, is my assumption. And come to find out, when he started talking to Ken about it, Ken had never received it.
Oh my God!
Never had it. Didn't know anything about it.
Wow.
So so this is what it says. The quote is taking the framed album out of the box. Ortbach presented Kelly the gold award for his artwork on the Kiss Destroyer album 42 years later.
Wow.
So he actually took it to him and delivered it, and 42 years later, that's really cool. And that's the thing about. I think that is the thing about Kiss fans. We try to make sure that everybody gets taken care of, and if something doesn't seem right, we try to fix it, and that's really cool. I mean, that's pretty awesome. So
that is very cool.
So did it say in the article how that guy received? Did he buy it from somebody? Or did he receive it?
It doesn't say exactly how he got it. I don't think. He just said that he asked him if he'd ever received any gold awards from work with Kiss, and he said, yeah. He received a couple, but he never got the one for Destroyer or something like that. And the guy said, well, I can bring it to you. So that's crazy, but man, way
cool.
to go, dude. That's awesome. Awesome for Ken, who's a really nice guy. I got to meet him at the Atlanta Expo, and I did get an original print of the original Love Gun album or cover that didn't get used, signed by Ken, which is really cool. So it's hanging in my room here.
So you got it framed, didn't you? Yeah,
I do have it framed. It is sitting up there, and it looks awesome. And yeah, so way to go, man. That's awesome. So there you go. Yep, that's pretty cool. That was my thing. Let's see what else I got this week. I bought. This is cool. I picked up the Eagles Hotel California gatefold record with the poster inside of it.
Cool.
I didn't even for $5. I didn't even know it had the poster inside of it. I get it home and I pull it out.
You're the luckiest son of a bitch ever.
The record's in great shape. Sounds really good. And I was putting the record back in the thing, and I'm like, "What's it?" I said, "There's 2 sleeves in here." And I pull it. I'm like, "Shit, that's a poster!" Like, and it's like a long poster, and it's really cool.
Oh, you
but it's
suck.
from 1976. It's just cool as hell.
You suck.
Hey,
Somebody sounds jealous.
Oh, I can't find those. I need to go. I actually told Kelly Sunday we were going to go, and then I got too lazy. It was too hot. I ain't
come up here, dude. I can take you. We can go all kinds of places. There's like a bunch of places up here. Where did I find that one at? Oh, there was a record store that had closed in Irvington, which is a little area in Indianapolis. It's called Irvington. It had closed for a few months, and a place had some really great stuff. But the owner, one of the owners, a bookstore and a record store, and the bookstore that owned the place. She had some health issues, had to close, so they lost the record store too. Well, some people bought it all back and have redone the place, and it's in a neat old building, and that's some pretty good stuff. That an AC/DC Highway to Hell record that I almost bought, but it was in not very good shape. But it's still only $5. I thought for $5, I would just buy it. But then it was like, you can spit on your finger and rub it on the record, and the junk doesn't come off of it. Yeah.
I don't want your spit. I don't want your spit on my record anyway. So
but yeah. I looked at a couple other things, but yeah, that was about it. So it was a good day.
Unfortunately, the only thing I have here in Newburgh is that the Trader Bakers up here, which there's different.
You got to go to flea markets. Those flea
markets. It's kind of a
flea
flea market kind of situation where they've got different booths.
Yeah.
And
we have a couple of those here too. I buy things here and there from that. But. And
I found some good gems, but nothing, no $5 records. I'm actually I need to get a hold. Remind me to get. I got the number right here. I got to get a hold of him, get my sandals yet. I was going to do that on this weekend, and it got too hot, and it didn't go nowhere. But I will find out
this weekend.
I will find out where he got the. I got my other pair. See, I got my other. I got 2 pairs, a dark brown, which I left at your house, and my tan one. So anyway.
Yeah, Lisa thought they were mine, and she looked at them. She goes, "Those are Crocs. Those are Dennis's."
It goes with his bags that he carries.
He gets those with his Vera Bradley bags at the outlet mall. All right,
I'm just rock and roll
today, isn't it? There you go.
All right, you got anything else there, Mr. Bill?
Not the moment.
Oh, no.
Looking around, trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so.
All right, couple things real quick. Appetite for Destruction, the Super Deluxe Edition, is out. I mean, if you want to purchase it, you go nuts. You go on iTunes, you can buy it on there. You can buy the album here and there, or whatever.
How much is it?
I don't know. I was going to look that up. I know on
You're
iTunes,
stealing it.
It was $1.29 a song. I know on iTunes on some of this that I was looking on Amazon. It was. If you have the Spotify and you pay your $10 a month, you can stream it. And
so
it's
costing you $120.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So I paid for it.
Just asking.
It is really cool. It has, the original Welcome to all the stuff from Appetite. It has live versions of stuff, and then what I like about it, it has the 86. They went to Sound City, and they did a bunch of demos there, basically, and they sound really good. I mean, they sound very much like the album itself, except for there's very little background vocals, and some of the ones I've listened to, a lot of them, Axl's voice is kind of really echoey kind of sounding, but I think they're basically live demos that they just went there to practice before they went to the studio to actually record them. But there's 20, was it 27
Wait. I gotta understand that.
What?
So they didn't. Are you talking about like
they recorded at Sound City? They recorded at Sound City in '96 these demos. Okay.
Oh,
For,
not
I mean,
the
86.
for Appetite
Or 80s. I'm sorry, 86.
Okay, I'm sorry.
so
confused.
Yeah, I'm so retarded. So anyway, yeah, is the 1986 Sound City Sessions is what it's called.
Okay.
And these were bootlegged for a long time. Supposedly the one producer had a cassette of them, and they've been out for a long time. These are just better quality of those demos.
Okay.
But they're added on, and there was some live cuts too from the Marquee Club, a whole lot of Rosie, Knock on Heaven's Door, It's So Easy. There's acoustic versions of some stuff, just some different versions of some other things. But a cool record. I'm not going to buy it. I pay my Spotify, so I'll stream it.
So you're buying it.
I bought it. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's okay.
Well, I didn't download it illegally. I'm just getting it off a source at some point. But it is really cool. If you are a Guns N' Roses fan, it's a cool deal. Real quick, going to bring up Kiss are doing their practicing right now for their tour. We talked about this a little bit earlier. They are practicing the songs that they've done for I don't know how many years. They probably pulled out a guitar case and said, here's the set list from the last tour. Let's just practice this. My question to you guys, though, because Gene has been playing all these new songs and stuff with the Gene Simmons band and all that stuff, you think he's gonna pull some of these out on this next show?
No.
I'm curious.
I would like to think that he would say we're doing this. But
that's my thing. I hope he does. I hope he puts his big ass fucking 7-inch heel boot down and goes, guess what, Paul? We're playing some fucking songs. We're playing these songs.
I wish he would do that too, but it's not going to happen.
Because Tommy and Eric are very capable of doing this.
I have no doubt in my mind.
And Paul is the only. If they don't, it's Paul's fault. Period.
No, you don't understand. That's not what the fans want to hear.
Okay, Paul.
The fans want to hear the last 16 songs they've heard for the last 16 years from the same band. Same band. That's all they want to hear.
All right. Anyway. So anyway,
I'm telling you.
Just ask Paul. He'll tell you.
Just ask Paul. And he'll tell you.
I don't want to ask Paul.
A quote.
I don't want to ask. I don't want to ask Paul.
Close.
I don't want to ask Paul that though, because I don't think that's true.
I mean, I want you to be right. I want you to be right. I want you to be so right.
I want you. That's what you want.
It's not going to happen, dude. It's not going to happen.
At least one song, at least one of those deep cuts that they've been playing.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was my question. Real quick too, before we get into this interview, and I was on Podcast Rock City over the weekend. It just came out Monday, and we were talking, and Jody made a question to Sonny and I, and we talked about it, and the question actually kind of festered in my head last night a little bit more, and that's why I wanted to ask you guys.
That's not the only thing that festers in your head.
Our power. Actually, I went to bed early last night, and 11:30 we had a transformer blow in the neighborhood, which woke me up. Because you talk about a firework, that's how much woke me up.
We have one right behind this room here, and when it goes off,
and it basically, this was down at the end of the street, so I can't imagine what that was. The house is next to the street down there. But it basically, then all of course, it's what 110,000 degrees outside, so of course everything shut down. Everything was like boom. So it didn't come on to 1:30. So
okay. So the question was
anyway. Okay. All right. Here's the question.
Moses.
Ace Frehley. If Kiss at the time, whenever they were finding their members, if Kiss would have went with, Gene found his member a long time before that. If they would have picked Bob Cooley before Ace, okay, and Ace would have never been in Kiss, would Ace have ever made it famous on his own? Period. Now that question is not the question I'm getting to. That is a question.
Do you mean on his own or with a different band?
If he didn't, if Ace didn't have Kiss, would Ace be? If he used like the material from his like '78 solo album, which everybody likes, and the Comet stuff, would he have made it on his own without Kiss?
I say it's doubtful.
Okay, Bill.
I say it's doubtful, but I think it's doubtful for any of those guys.
So okay, this is where I'm going with. No, but you're right. You're right.
Well, I'm not necessarily right, but
no, but
I think it takes a band to that whole band got successful because of the whole band. They didn't get successful because of any one individual. It was successful because of that, and that's when they left and they started leaving. They maintained that success by playing the same 16 damn songs for the last 16 damn years.
So were you in my mind last night when I kept thinking about this? Because that thing became, that actually came up because here was my thought about that was everybody said the same thing. We don't think that Ace would have been able to make it on his own because Kiss is a 4-member thing that made them all famous. Now, each one of those individuals, not just putting Ace in that position, each one of those individuals have done not only a solo album that was unified by Kiss, but each one of those people have made a solo album. Okay, Peter Criss, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and Ace Frehley have done work on their own. None of those albums have ever surpassed what Kiss ever did. But you take a band like the Eagles, and you have Glenn Frey and Don Henley, who went out on solo careers, sold just as good as it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not going to sell Eagle type material. They did very, very well. I mean,
but you can say the same thing about Fleetwood Mac.
That's what I'm just saying. I mean, so you can say that same thing with Fleetwood Mac. You've got, she went out on her own, and of course, she made a ton of money. And
Lindsey Buckingham, and I mean,
right?
Yeah.
But Kiss on their own have never, none of them by themselves have ever went to that level, or even close to the level of Kiss by themselves. That band is all. It took that band to get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just think that's the same way. I think that's.
But
I
here's where I'm going to pull in my Dave. I'm going to pull the Dave Grohl factor. The Dave Grohl factor. Nirvana was a big band. I think Dave, he is surpassed or to the point of Nirvana. Nirvana was a small portion. I think Foo Fighters has a larger base of people that listen to them. Nirvana was a grunge, and there were people that kind of liked the Nirvana, but no, what I'm saying, grunge music. But Foo Fighters, he's surpassed what Nirvana did. Don't you think?
Yeah, but his affiliation with Nirvana got him the places he got in his solo career. He didn't get those without being in Nirvana.
True.
Which is exactly what we just said. I mean,
but what we just said though, Paul Stanley is the greatest front man for the band Kiss. Live to Win. Where did it go? I mean, look at when it came out. Right. That's true.
I mean, it's all you got to take all that stuff.
It is.
I mean, the perspective.
There's a lot of different.
So the single question is an individual member, would they have gone on to be big? Could Paul Stanley have gone on to be big? Probably. He could have surrounded himself with the right people. Could Gene? No, because Gene needed I think my personal opinion is Gene needed the gimmick.
Right. I agree.
I mean, I think he needed the gimmick. I don't know that Paul needed the gimmick. I think Paul's a good songwriter.
Paul's got a great voice.
I think he's got a great voice. Had a great voice. But and Peter couldn't get out of his own way, so I don't.
I don't.
He would have just fumbled around.
He'd still be in Chelsea playing.
Yeah, I mean that's.
UFW or
Alan,
VFW.
what do you think? You haven't said anything. What do you think?
Yeah.
Because we're just talking. So, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, I kind of have the same thoughts that you do, Bill. The times that they put those solo albums out is a long time past when they were in their prime. So, is it really a fair example to say those albums didn't do as well? So they probably wouldn't have done as well on their own. But
Henley put his album out way past.
I'm not talking
15
about.
years
I am
past.
not talking about Henley. We were talking
Right.
about Kiss.
Right. I'm just saying it can be
But
done.
you know, I agree with Bill. You know, I think Paul was strong enough as a front man that he didn't need the gimmick. I think Ace probably, had he not stumbled into Kiss, he would have stumbled into something, because his playing style. There are so many people that cite him as an influence, you know, because he just has that one style, that pentatonic stuff.
Right.
You know, I mean, obviously that's not the only thing he does, but that is pentatonic. You automatically associate that with Ace. So I believe Ace and Paul probably would have done something. The other two probably not so much, especially as old as Peter Criss was when Kiss finally made it.
Yeah.
Now, I like Ace Frehley. I like his playing. I like the way he does stuff, the sloppiness and everything. But without the makeup and not being in Kiss, he's just another pentatonic, just another average guitar guy in a garage. To be honest.
But it's that way with everybody.
Right.
I feel that way about Jimi Hendrix.
Well, I feel that way about
I'm
Randy
not-
Rhoads. I mean, Randy Rhoads is a great guitar player, one of the greatest guitar players ever. But the fact that he was in Ozzy's band, do you don't think that had anything to do with the fact that Randy Rhoads was great?
Well, of course.
I mean, not that Randy Rhoads was great. That Randy Rhoads' career was propelled by the fact he was in Ozzy's band. I mean,
you're in the right space at the right time.
It's all about that. I mean,
Yeah.
well, and you know, we had that conversation recently about a newer record that came out that sounds like a really, really good record.
Right.
But it could be a damn good record if it had all the original members on it.
Right. Exactly.
You know, that's the difference, right? So, I mean, that's the challenge, I think, and that's but to me, this goes back to conversations we've had before.
Right.
Our kids are never going to experience this with the bands that they listen to.
Ever. I agree with you.
20 years from now, 30 years from now, you're never going to hear about 95% of the people that you're listening to right now. They won't even be around.
No.
There won't be a band that says I'm playing my 40th year. That won't happen.
No.
It won't happen. And that's kind of bizarre, but
it's sad.
I don't think it will.
Sad. It's sad.
Do you think it would? Do you guys think it will? I really don't think it will.
I do not.
No.
I think it's disposable.
Longevity in the music business is a thing of the past. And as soon as, like you said, as soon as the grandfathers are done, it won't happen again. And I think the Foo are probably one of the last of the bands that are going to stay around for a while. You know what I'm saying? That kind of age line of that, not just saying them, but those guys that are maybe in their 50s and stuff like that. Anything before that, or I think are going to be done. You know, they're not going to last.
Well, okay, so who's filling arenas? Really? You got the Foo really, truly selling out shows, big shows.
Guns
right?
N' Roses,
Guns N' Roses from the 80s.
Foo Fighters,
U2,
and Metallica.
80s. Metallica.
Right? That's it.
I mean, well, Bon Jovi's still filling arenas.
Bon Jovi is too, yeah.
You know?
But they're 80s type.
But even that's it. There's
Rolling
when you
Stones.
think about people that have been around for a while filling arenas, that's it. Nobody else is really filling arenas. There's not. Kiss is not going to fill. Kiss is not going to headline and fill a 18,000 seat arena anymore. They're not,
unless it's that the end of the road. The end of the road tour will do that, and that'd be the last time it happens.
It will. I don't think it will.
I don't think it will either.
No,
because everybody's been. You fool me once, fool me twice.
They missed the boat, man. I'm telling you. They did.
You know,
they're going to have to bring. The only way to get now, can they sell out a Tiger Stadium again, or one of those kind of places by doing a? It's going to have to be something super spectacular, special. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. It's just another Kiss show.
Yeah, it's going to have to be one of those ones we've talked about, bringing everybody back.
Even if you bring everybody back, you can't do that on a tour, and it's not gonna put butts in the seat.
No,
people are not. You know, there are going to be, I'm going to say 50,000 people, probably, maybe more than that are going to go see a show multiple times. Right?
I'll see him once.
I will probably go a couple of times.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I see, but it's going to be twice. But there are going to be people that never go, and there are going to be people that I'm done with it. I've already been done with it, and I just don't see them filling those kind of seats.
Yeah, maybe. I just thought it was an interesting question. Like I said, there's so many variables to that question that originally said, though, too. That's why I was just kind of bringing it up, but I thought it would be kind of good banter. Good banter.
So when we went to see Poison, and Poison's a pretty big band. They've sold a couple records, right? One or two, yeah. One or two records,
maybe.
Something like that.
Maybe some. Had a great opening band, right? Which was Cheap Trick, which
should have been, yeah.
And the place was empty. I mean, literally, because it stormed, they took everybody that was out in the grass and put them inside under the pavilion, and there were probably 100 people out in the lawn. And
that's why you go down to the stadium and you're seeing what those
Judas
three
Priest when there's 5,000 people there.
Well, you're seeing 3 or 4 of the newer bands, Five Finger Death Punch, this, that, Stone, whatever, and they're not even doing. They got all the upper sections that are curtained off. And then what's down below is kind of half-assed, kind of sparsely, but they're not drawing either. And you're bringing 4 bands in on that.
Yeah, I want to see Kiss go out and their last tour sell out a 20,000 seat place and blow the roof off of it. You dang skippy ideas. But the reality of it is, I don't think it's going to happen.
No, it'd be interesting to see. We were going to find out here very soon, I believe.
But I want it to. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that note.
Everybody,
Alan,
let's say hi to Shim. Shim, introduce yourself and tell us about what project you're working on.
Well, my name's Shim. I was in a band called Sick Puppies. That's what everyone knows me from, and now I am releasing my first solo record. The single is out now called Hallelujah. Came out last month, right before I did Rock on the Range, which was awesome. Got the video out with Sock Puppets as my band because they work for cheap, and the record's coming out in September, and the record is going to be amazing. I have no problem saying it's my best work to date.
Cool. I've listened to the single, man. It's awesome. I listened to it today, actually a few times. So I had it on in my office, and there were some people come in and said, "What are you listening to?" And I'm like, "I'm listening to this guy we're interviewing tonight. His name's Shim. You there?"
Yeah, I'm here, brother.
Okay, good. And they were like, "That sounds pretty cool." So actually, there were a couple other people I turned on to it today too. So,
man, you keep that up. You keep telling everybody, yeah.
We're gonna spread the love for you. We'll see how it goes here. We'll definitely try to help you out.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Cheers.
So what else you got in store on that record? Because I also listened tonight. I listened to Poison. I listened to Maybe, which those are great songs. Are those on a record somewhere, or are these going to be on the new record?
No. Those are Puppies songs, man.
Oh, they are. Okay.
So, yeah, Poison was a B-side on Connect, which was the last album the Puppies did. Maybe was one of the big singles that we had that actually went over to pop.
That's why I heard it.
So yeah, like all that stuff. That's one of the reasons that I'm so eager to get my album out. I mean, I'm actually I'm in the studio right now in front of the Pro Tools rig, getting the mix sessions ready for a bunch of the songs to get mixed and get it all finished and delivered to release it in September. Because I've been very fortunate, man. Like, I remember when I was putting together the idea of becoming a solo artist, I wanted to try to start another band, and it just didn't kind of come together. And after a year or so, I was like, a lot of people were like, "Hey, man, where's your music? Like, we want to hear your new music." And I just had to kind of bite the bullet and say, all right, well, I'm just going to have to do it all myself, and self-produced a lot of the record, co-produced the rest of it. And so far, everyone's been really, really supportive and really, receptive, and everyone's been really positive. And like, there's only positive feedback to Hallelujah so far. And now, of course, the next question everyone's saying is, well, when's the album come out? Because everyone, when they want to hear my songs, they naturally have to go back to Puppy stuff because that's all there is out at the moment. So that's one of the things I'm really, under the gun to get this thing put out as soon as possible, as well as possible, because I want people to hear the new stuff, so that, you know, next time we talk, hopefully you'll say, hey, man, I was listening to that song Our Time or that song Secrets, which is on my record, and you'll be talking about my stuff instead.
Yeah, that'd be great. Actually, I thought it was your stuff, so I was like, so yeah,
I mean, man, you know, at the end of the day, it is. That's my voice. I wrote those songs. That's, you know, that's my work, and I'm really proud of it. Like, it's those, you know, I've been very lucky to have a lot of. I had hit singles with the band, and I was very proud of the songs, and most importantly, I was really proud and humbled by how songs like Maybe, you know, people. I remember. I'll never forget it, dude. I'll never forget it, and it really made me reassess how I approach songwriting and what I do with my music when this guy, who I'd met at a bunch of shows over the years, every time we come into town, and then he comes up to me one day and he's like, man, I heard that song Maybe, and I've decided to quit my job and move to Mexico and open a scuba diving instructing course. And he changed his life and used my song as a soundtrack for his decision. And, you know, everyone says your song changed my life. I don't agree with that. I think that they used my song as a soundtrack for their decision to change their life. But that's enough for me, man. Like, if I can, you know, add that little bit of steam, a little bit of energy to help people live the life they want to live. As soon as he said that to me, I got this huge buzz. And I was like, man, I want to catch that as often as possible. I want to write music that does that all the time. And that's what this, you know, my solo record, when I was putting the songs together, I said they've all got to have that vibe, that feeling, that they got to create that energy. And so, and as far as I can tell, it really, I think I've achieved it. I'm really hoping it works.
Well, yeah, you got to take some credit for that, because, you know, you write that music based on emotion, right? And to evoke motion out of other people. And, you know, if that Maybe song does that, then you've accomplished your goal, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the funny thing. Like, I remember, you know, I think everyone has, you guys, I don't know you guys very well yet, but I'm sure you have your thing that you could talk about for days, right? A subject that you just feel so passionately about, that you know a lot about. And for me, I love the idea of talking about music, not in terms of like, I've met some people that talk about music like, oh yeah, I remember this Zeppelin record that they made in 75 and they had some guy play the harmonica on it on the 7th track. That's not me. I love to talk about how much emotion you can put into a song and how effective it can be in changing people's mood, which then changes their perception and their decision making, and can, you know, inspire them to change their life, because that's what music did to me. And when you break it down and you think of what music really is, it's really not. It's not like I don't treat music with kid gloves. You know, there are people who have a million guitars and a million amps and a big studio, and they talk about all. I got 3 guitars, 1 acoustic, and a laptop, and I made my record with that, and it does the job, and I'm not precious. The only thing that matters is the music is a vehicle to connectivity. It's a vehicle to help people feel less alone by making them feel more connected to anything, to the message, the lyrics, the person singing it, or hopefully all of those things combined. So I really try to get as deep into the science of songwriting and the connectivity of the music to make the best songs that I can, to just leave a little bit of a footprint on the earth for when I'm gone.
Awesome. Yeah, music is an emotion. You know, that's the thing is people, you know, there are some people that just hear music as notes and lyrics and stuff like that. But most of us who really get into music, it's all emotion.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I love. That's one of the reasons I love to talk to people. Like, I show my music to a handful of people in the business, but I prefer to show my music, that, like, before it gets released, I'm sort of like figuring out what works and what doesn't, to people who have no idea about how to make music. I remember a friend of mine put it this way. He said, I just hear in stereo. He said, I just hear in stereo. I just hear what's coming out of the speakers. I don't hear how the guitar works with the vocals or the drums with the bass and the rhythm. He just said, I just hear the speakers and the vibe. And all I can tell you is if I like it or I don't, or if it makes me feel this thing. So I really love showing music to people who to just receive it the way that you're talking about, which is just the emotion, because that's really the whole point. You put away all the guitars and the Pro Tools and the band and the whole thing. It all comes down to, did I affect someone? You know, did you connect with someone?
Awesome.
Now, you're working on this album. It's coming out later this year. You played Rock on the Range a few weeks ago, which is indirectly kind of how you and I got hooked up, because I was actually reporting from Rocklahoma, and your publicist thought that I was at Rock on the Range, so she was trying to get me over to the media tent to talk to you. But once you get this album out, are you going to be trying to tour in the United States, or do you have any tour plans worldwide? Anything like that?
I'll play anywhere they want to see me, mate. Anywhere they want to come and check it out. I don't care. I'm not, like I said, man, I'm not precious. This whole thing is about as punk rock as you can get. And yeah, like, no, we're definitely touring the States. I'm going to hit every corner of this country that I can many times over, the same way I did with the Puppies. And then as soon as the opportunity comes up to hit over in Europe, I mean, we were really lucky with the Puppies that, you know, in the second half of our career, we were doing, you know, big shows over there, man, big festivals and selling out big places. So it's all part of, you know, I hate to quote the Joker, but it's all part of the plan.
Well, so make sure that when you get ready to start touring the United States, that you have Kim let me know, and we'll make sure we get you a little bit of media push.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, when I'm coming to town, let's do another interview, and let's organize some giveaways and give everyone some free love, man.
Well, we're all about free love, as long as we got penicillin.
You based in, or are you based in the United States right now? I mean, is that where you're recording?
Are you recording?
What's that? No, I said, are you recording in the States now?
Oh, yeah. Well, look, like, people ask me where do I live, and I just say wherever. You know, like, you know, the truth is the answer is everywhere.
Right.
Right now, I'm making the record in the States because the people that I'm working with are in LA.
Right.
You know, I track the drums in Nashville. I comp the vocals in Australia. I work off the laptop, and but you know, for the most part, yeah. I mean, generally based in America. You know, I got my green card. I'm legit, so I'm good to go.
Yeah, we're actually about 2 hours. We all live about 2 to 3 hours north of Nashville, so we're very familiar with Nashville. It's a hotbed of music right now, not just country music. It's a hotbed of all music.
I'm telling you, man, I've been down there a bunch of times. I want to move down there.
My wife does too. My wife's like going, I'm like, well, traffic's pretty bad though.
Dude, oh, please, cry me a river. Dude, try living in LA for a week.
That's true too. Yeah.
Nothing in Nashville. I know if you're living out of the city, I'm sure you're not dealing with any traffic. But I mean, Christ, it takes me an hour and a half to get to a meeting. Like you got to schedule around traffic in LA. It's a nightmare. So no, Nashville is like a dream.
Exactly.
Now, I want to go back to Rock on the Range real quick. When you played Rock on the Range, did you play mostly your new music? Did you play a combination of your music and Sick Puppies music, or how did the crowd receive that?
I played a combo. I made a very conscious choice to play. I played 3 Puppy songs and 4 or 5 new songs because, you know, I mean, I found it fascinating. I found it really funny when, you know, you go to Rock on the Ranges, there's, you know, you do 50 interviews. There's all these people in the interview tent. And my guy came up to me, my radio guy, and he was like, you know, do you want me to give them instructions not to talk about Sick Puppies? And I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You know, like that's my work, my band, my songs, my voice. And, you know, and most importantly, the people used to ask me before we played the show, like, are you going to play Puppy songs? And I said, you mean my songs? Yeah, I'm going to play my songs. Because that's what fans, you know, that's what fans know me for. That's what they want to hear. That's what they know. And I hate it when I go to see a performer, even if it's the actual band, like the band, the actual band name, and they don't play the songs that I want to hear. It's a ripoff. Like, you got to, you know, man, you know, these people, everyone's worked real hard all week or all month working crappy jobs, and they're really looking forward to the show. and then they show up and you don't get to hear the songs you want to hear. I've lived that. It sucks. So I want to give them whatever they want, and so I put together a set that I did my best to satisfy the audience, to make sure that they heard the songs they want to hear, and then I chose the best songs that I had that I thought would blend with those songs for, you know, a half-hour set at Rock on the Range, and put out the best thing that I could to make sure that everyone was satisfied. That's all I care about, man, making sure everyone's happy.
That's very cool.
Bill, you were jumping earlier.
I think...
Oh no, I was gonna jump on. I was gonna ask about the Rock on the Range thing. So again,
but his microphone was muted.
Yeah, I was muted. So I'm like, Hey, I did notice that on an earlier Sick Puppies album that you did you co-wrote with Desmond Child. How was that?
That was strange. I'll tell you, man. We did one song with Desmond, and it was like it's kind of like songwriting boot camp. I mean, I've been really lucky, like I said before. I've worked with a lot of big songwriters and learned so much off them and just stolen all the tricks, and they really teach you how to focus. I mean, you know, you're working with a guy that wrote Living on a Prayer, which regardless of whether you like Bon Jovi, when you hear that, that is one of the best written songs like ever. And it's like, and so and Ricky Martin stuff, it's like, you know, regardless of genre or pop or whatever you want to say, but then he comes in the room and he has a zero tolerance for anything that is not exactly what the song needs. And you come to realize very quickly that it's really black and white. There's only the best thing that comes out of the speakers, the best sound, the best transition, the best part, the best chorus, the best lyric, the best thing that you can put in the song, and then there's everything else. And everything else doesn't make it in. And it's no fucking around. Like, it's kind of, you know, like I remember the story that I always tell about Desmond Child that I thought was hilarious is that we're throwing around all these ideas and we're trying to find the song. We're trying to figure it out. And he says to me, because I'm basically sitting there with an acoustic guitar while we're writing the song. And the songs were always born from just me sitting there playing the acoustic guitar, singing the song, and we'd find it, and eventually that would be the song, and then you build the track off that. And he says to me, okay, so you go from this part here, but cut that in half and go to the pre-chorus then, but we're going to change the lyric, and then when you go to the chorus, we're going to do the first part of the chorus here. And he lays it all out for me, and then I do it, and I'm like, okay, so I get it in my head, and then I play it, and I finish, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm not sure if did I do it right, or it didn't quite sound good? And I look at Desmond Child, and I said, was that good? And he says, no, it's crap. We have to do it again. No, we have to try. His catchphrase was, that's crap. No, that's crap. And I was like, it doesn't sound bad. Like, it sounds like a song. But he was like, no, it wasn't like, oh, no, it's okay, but we have to finish. He just said, no, that's crap. It's like he literally took what I'd done and chucked it in the bin. And he did it a million times that day. And it's really, you know, it's really interesting to work with someone at the top level of that craft and know that there's only room for greatness. And then when you learn that, you start to put it in all your other songs and figure out that is the exact MO that I've used with my whole solo record that's coming out in September. Only greatness can exist on anything that I put out there, because I know what it's like. I know the difference. I learned what the difference is, you know?
Right. So is the rest of your album, I mean, we heard the single Hallelujah, which is a great tune. Is it going to be basically that type of song, or is it going to be, you're going to have a bunch of different type of stuff? I mean, what's your...
There's going to be different types of stuff, man. Like,
right.
The Puppies, I was lucky with the Puppies records because we were able to, we'd release singles and have the type of sound that people came to know us for from the singles. But then when you get into the record, the heavy songs would get real heavy and the soft songs would get really soft and melodic and sensitive, and there'd be all this space in between, and we'd be able to sort of move around a lot musically.
Right.
And so I did that on this record as well. Like, cool. Hallelujah is the only song that sounds kind of like that. There's no other blues-based songs on the record. But I wanted to fill that. I knew that the song sounded exciting. I wanted people to hear it, and I wanted to put out something that sounded exciting.
That's a good song.
And then there are other songs that don't. There's a whole bunch of songs that sound like, you know, very different things. And it's a departure from the Puppies, but I always tell people it's still me. It's very much true to who I am, what I want to say, what I've said before in the Puppies records. And so I can pretty much give a money-back guarantee that if you like what the Puppies did, you're going to like this record, if not love it.
One thing too, if this album, it's been a while since you said you wanted to finally get something out to the people. Did you have a lot of material to work with, and you had to cut down a lot? Did you have to decide, or did you have some just really? I've wrote these really great songs, and I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I wrote a lot, man. I mean,
Right.
I'm always writing, always.
Right.
And so even if it's not a full song, if it's an idea, it's like,
Sure.
I mean, it's been 3 years since the Puppies split. And even then, like, I mean, I don't think there's any songs from, like, I pretty much started putting this together, shortly after the Puppies split. I started just writing and trying to figure out what it was going to be. There's 3 years worth of songs. It might have been, I don't know, 100 plus songs. And then I remember I went through and a lot of people told me, like, oh, you need to make a record that sounds like this, or radio's changed and you've got to make a record that sounds like this. And I was spinning my head around, and eventually I just said, all right, I'm just going to put out the record that sounds the most exciting, the one that connects the most emotion, that really feels true and really sounds exciting, that's going to get people excited, because if they get excited, hopefully they're going to come to a show and they're going to want to, take the ride with me. So the choice of what songs made it on there was just going through everything I'd written and choosing what really was just the most exciting sounding stuff, and trying to sort of, but as a result, the record it's a broad record. It's not, I'm telling you, man, I got no problem telling everyone, it's not one of those records with 10 songs that sound the same and one ballad. It's
Cool.
it's a big sounding record. I wanted to
That's
create
good.
something that was larger than life.
Gotcha. One thing too, if you think about it too, the record industry itself has changed. I know you self-produced this album, recorded, basically on your own time, your way. So how are you going to get this thing out? Because it's not, the record industry wasn't like it was before.
No, it definitely ain't, mate. I mean, I'm putting it out myself.
Right.
I've got more than enough behind me to be able to self-release it, and I've put together a great team of people that work in the record business in LA.
Right.
And I've basically put together a team, and effectively I'm my own record label now.
Well, that's what everybody has to do now, because it
Yeah.
has changed. I mean, there's no record company that's going to help you out anymore. That's the problem.
Well, hey, look, there are record labels that don't get me wrong, I had offers. It wasn't like
Sure.
I didn't. I actually, the reason that I chose to self-release it was because once I finished the record, and I was lucky with my previous work that, I could get these meetings with every label that I wanted to meet, and they'd say, all right, well, if you want us to release it, here's a kind of a shit sandwich of a deal. And I was like, well, I kind of don't want to take that deal. Can you do a better deal? And then we wouldn't be able to meet at a deal that was something that I wanted to do. And eventually I was like, look, there's no reason I can't do it myself. So I just decided, forget it. I'll just put it out myself and just get it on.
Awesome. That's what it's become. Actually, it's happened to quite a few people, and actually, I think that's the way of the future, the wave of the future.
Well, I'll say it's the way of the present.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
we're doing now, man. It was clear to me when I was taking the meetings. I was like, it's really, it's kind of black and white. It's like you have the option of the labels, and they offer you what they offer you, and there's not a lot of wiggle room unless you're U2. And then there's everything else, which is now it exists online, and the fans, man, the fans are getting more credit and control than they've ever had, and it's how it should be. Because if you make good music and you are good to your fans, and your fans are good, if you have that, like I got the best fans in the world. I know it's cliche, everyone says they got the best fans in the world, but I really do. I was lucky with the Puppies that we crossed demographics. We had the Free Hug song, and then You're Going Down, and then Maybe, and then Odd One. And then, I've got all of these fans that are actually, they used to get pissed off with me when I post stuff on Instagram, because I suck at that stuff. and I'd post like what everyone else was posting. You know, I tried the selfie thing, even though it's super lame. And they were like, "Who cares about what you're wearing? Where's your music?" And then I posted where I was on Saturday afternoon. They were, "Who cares where you are on Saturday? Where's your music?" And they were like, "They tell you what they want, and so you just give it to them. It's not hard. It's not rocket science."
Exactly.
So Shim, do you have a title for the record?
Yeah, Shim.
Oh, there you go. That's simple.
I'm going to Led Zeppelin my way into history.
Great.
By God.
Great one. Shim number one, then it'd be Shim number two.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And then
House is a Shim.
Yeah. Like
Shim, whatever.
Shivery or whatever it was. Okay, that's awesome. Oh, man, I'm looking forward to the whole album, though. I really am. Yeah. It's going to be great.
Thank you. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I'm really looking forward to just getting it out so that there's finally some stuff out there and people can decide. Come out to shows. I tell everyone, like, I just before I was talking to someone, and I said, the shows are where it's at. The record is an ad for the show, and my shows come with a money-back guarantee. And as far as I know, I'm the only guy in rock and roll that offers a money-back guarantee because the managers hate it and the label hate it. When you offer a money-back guarantee, they're like, "Why would you do that?" I said, "Because it's fair enough. If you hire a plumber to come in and fix your toilet and it breaks, you should get your money back. If you're not satisfied with my product, you get your money back." And I'm perfectly happy to put my money where my mouth is and tell everyone this is going to be the baddest rock show in rock and roll. And if you don't agree, give me your money back, no problem. But I've been given a money back guarantee with the Puppy shows for years. We did 1,500 shows. No one ever asked for their cash back. I'm perfectly happy.
Awesome.
Not a bad gig, man.
It's a good record. Awesome.
I've been to some shows where I wish they'd give me my money back.
I know. That's my point. I've seen those shows too, and it pisses me off. I'm like, this is. But you know what? We work in a service-based industry, and it's more competitive than ever. And I remember when Linkin Park released Hybrid Theory, and it was advertised that you could, buy this record, and if you don't like it, you'll get your money back. I remember thinking, well, that record's probably going to be pretty damn good if they're offering that. And I got no hesitation saying that this is the baddest show around. When you can come and see it, it's going to be the baddest thing. You're going to be satisfied. So I'll put my money where my mouth is, and and if that's what pushes people over the edge to say, well, I'm thinking about going to see Shim's show, but it's kind of a no risk situation. If I don't like it, no harm, no foul.
Got nothing to lose.
In the house, rock it out. I want people to come to this show. I want to change people's lives, man.
Awesome.
Cool. So where can people find you, Shim?
Mate, everywhere. Spotify, iTunes, shimmusic.com, Shimon Moore Official at Facebook, Twitter, Shim Music at Twitter and Instagram, everywhere, man. Just go and check it out. YouTube, go and check out. Most importantly, to everyone who's checking it out right now on your site, go and check out the video on YouTube. I made the most bizarre video. I don't know what I was thinking in retrospect, but I
liked it actually. It's good.
I appreciate that. I got the Muppet Show to be my backing band because I just wanted to do something fresh, man. I saw these videos of bands playing in a room or playing on a mountaintop, and I thought, I got to do something different. I got to do something fresh, and so the best I could come up with was sock puppets, and we put it together and made just a fun video that people can have fun watching, man.
You could have got Disney to do like the Shim Shim Balabim or whatever it was.
I'm going to keep that in mind for the second single.
There you go. That's what Disney might cost you a little bit more.
Yeah.
No, anyway.
Yeah, you get no royalties for that, buddy.
No.
None at all.
Well, I thought it was really cool, and it's just neat. I like it. I
got to tell you, Shim, this quick funny story. So when we were talking about doing this, I wasn't familiar with you, so I had to go do some research. So I'm doing some research, and there's another guy that goes by Shim that's a rapper. I don't know if you know that or not. Yeah, so I'm listening to this, and I'm like, oh my God, this is not the stuff that should be on our show. And I'm like, this is not connecting. And I'm telling my wife, I'm like, man, this is going to be bad because I don't know. We're not going to be able to help this guy out because the people that listen to our show are not going to listen to that and stuff like that. And then Alan sent me, I'm like, dude, I'm struggling here. So Alan sent me and said, oh no, it's Shim Moore. And I went to Shim Moore. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I'm like,
Thank you, Jesus.
like, we were in trouble. I mean, but it is a great record. It really is. And I agree with Dennis. And, we do a lot of these things, and we get people on the show when they're promoting their record. And I'm not bullshitting you, dude. I think that's a really good song. And I think it's going to be a great record. And I can't wait for it to come out. September can't get here fast enough. So.
Oh man, that's really cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate that more than you know, because I'm putting this whole thing together myself, and I'm telling you, I've never put more blood and sweat into a thing that I've worked on in my life, and so, and I really do. I'm serious, man. I'm sure you do interviews, and everyone's like, "Yeah, thanks for having me on the show," but really, thank you for having me.
No problem, not a problem.
And helping get the word out, because it's like. I'm not bullshitting anyone either. Like, I'm very lucky that a lot of people know me as the guy from Sick Puppies, but if you don't put Sick Puppies up on your banner, they're not going to necessarily, you put Shim up and some people won't make the connection. So I really appreciate the help, just sort of crossing this. I'm crossing into a new part of my life and my career, and it's new territory, and I really deeply appreciate any help I can get. So thank you.
Not a problem.
We'll put something up that says we have the real Shim on the show, not Shim the rapper.
Shim Shady.
I can throw together a rap song, put it on the record if it makes you feel better. But
no, please don't. Save our ears. Save our ears, please.
No, no rapping. Thank you.
But thank you for being on. Like I said, we sure appreciate it, and it's been fun. And like I said, when it gets closer to your date, we'll definitely promote it for you. And really looking forward to hearing it, to be honest. So
thank you, mate. Thank you. Yeah, well, I'll tell Kim, a month or a week before we've dropped it. Let's do another interview, and let's work out some giveaways and some free love for people and fans.
Sure.
And,
if you're ever close, we're gonna come see you, and we'll hook up and do a cheers or something.
Excellent. Thanks, man. Thank you.
All right,
Cool.
Shim. Thank you for your time, man. We'll talk to you pretty soon.
Excellent. Thanks again for the support, guys. You have a good one.
You too.
You too, bud.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.